Welcome to Four Movies, where I'll be discussing four movies that have something in common. But what they have in common, I know, but do you? If you don't, stay till the end of the video, and I'll tell you. If you do, say it before the end of the video, because then I'll say it, and then nobody's going to believe you. They'll be like, you don't really say, he says it all the time, you know? You can be like that one guy, be like, that one guy in Domino's just like, whoa, we about to jam! Oh yeah, we about to jam! Okay, no, I can't. Okay. Keep on going. Oh yeah! Oh no, I can't. Talk that smack. Like, if you haven't seen that video, where was it? Oh man, the one guy sitting there on hot wings, the big guy sitting there on hot wings. He's like, yo, if I tap out, that doesn't mean I'm giving up. It's like, yes, it does. Anyways, we're about to go into four movies, and I would say that this one is pretty easy. It's pretty easy. Like I said, this is definitely not like hard level. But there are some in there that are kind of like, how did you link these movies? Am I pushing it? Maybe, but it's like, I don't have to link them. I can link them however I want. This is my collection. So anyways, here we go into these four movies. Thank you so much. If I'm sitting there like I talk like somebody who doesn't really get a word in edgewise regular. So whenever I do get a word in edgewise, I got to sit there and get it in there real quick. But this is how I'm talking to you right now, so I can get a lot of field covered, okay? So anyways, here we go. Am I going to do this? Okay. The movie yesterday, if you watched the video yesterday, you know what these movies have in common. So I'm going to go through the ones that were on the page before this. The page before this, bam, Star Wars, boom. Okay, wait. Yeah. Bam, Star Wars, A New Hope. And if you sit there and say, oh, look, it says bonus disc on there. Yeah, that's because that's the original movie. Because I bought this with a set of, I believe, there's two discs on there. The first disc is the Star Wars that I saw in theaters, where they added all the special features and stuff like that. They added all the new CGI and stuff like that. But the original is the original, so the original is the original, and that's the one I have in my collection. Well, I do have the other ones. Like I said, they're in my collection as well. But the first ones that I put in there in the big book are the originals. And so, like I said, I don't care if Cloud City has more windows. It doesn't mean that I like. Yeah, bam. I like the original because of the story, not because of Cloud City having more windows. That was just something that they, like I said, if you want to study George Lucas and his career, that's a good thing to do if you're thinking about getting into movies, because of the fact that he made not necessarily like a marketing genius, but a good marketer. Like I said, he had three movies where he did one movie was successful, did another movie, Then he re-released those with just some added stuff on there. Oh man, if you could do that with like if there was so many people like they were doing remakes and stuff like that, if there were people that could sit there and re-release the movie with just some extra computer effects on there, they would. Don't get me wrong, like they would. But he was able to do that, and then starting it on 4, 5, and 6, basically left open the first trilogy, and left open the second trilogy, the second trilogy, or technically the third trilogy, because this would be the second trilogy. But like I said, it's some good marketing. Like I said, it's something to look into and stuff like that. It's like how to sell things. You're always going to have stuff that is out of pocket, where you had like Pet Rock. It's like, this is how you sell things, and then for some reason the success of Pet Rock was just kind of out there. But still, like I said, there's some good marketing strategy. Like I said, good strategy. That was the word I was looking for. But yeah, so we got Star Wars: A New Hope, we got Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back, and we also have bam, Return of the Jedi. Yeah. Return of the Jedi. Star Wars 6. Like I said, and it's so funny because there's people that, oh, you're just upset that Star Wars didn't age with you. It's a movie for kids. It's like, it's not a movie for kids. It is applicable for children. But if you think that those first three movies were for kids, come on now. The second movie is like political out the wazoo. It's just like a whole lot of talking. Like, a few action sequences put in there, but like I said, that movie wasn't for kids. Like, how in the world can kids concentrate? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, and democracy is doing the oh no, the Federation, blah 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 blah. You know, so it's like it's not for kids. It's just a movie that's applicable for kids. Like kids can watch it. Don't get me wrong, but it, being a kid movie is kind of a weird thing. It's like I don't know what in the world that means. You know, oh the movie should have aged up. No, they shouldn't have. They should. They're good. It's one of those things where it's like the first three don't have the consistency of the last three, and it's like where do you go after that? It's like where do you possibly go after that? Like I said, the first three, I like seeing the explanation of sitting there going, you were supposed to join the Force together, or you were supposed to be the chosen one, but he was the chosen one. He brought the Force. He brought balance to the Force after being invoked by his son coming into the picture. So, yeah, it's a father-son story. Well, most of them are. But, yeah. And then, of course, you got to, like, the Ewoks were in Return of the Jedi, and then, like, the Ewoks hardly ever mentioned again. Why, like, Disney owns them now. Why is there not an Ewok movie? Like I said, that would be stellar. It's like one of those things where, like, why would they have a solo Ewok movie? Why wouldn't they? Goodness gracious, that would be interesting to see, like, the Ewok community, like, after, you know, C-3PO came through and did all that. That could be interesting, but don't do it with CGI. You give little people a chance, other than Peter Dinklage. Like I said, Peter Dinklage is in everything, but, like, there's other people who could basically benefit from there being a show, like a series with Ewoks in there. They can benefit. Like, dude, we were the only ones. We were the ones that they were looking for. Yeah, heck yeah. Instead of someone on their knees or something like that. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know, Ewoks could have a solo story or a solo series that's not a Christmas special or something like that. But anyways, that could be interesting, like a baby Ewok, and then basically you learn like a series where it's like you watch the series of the Ewok series, and in that you learn through the eyes of this baby Ewok and coming into the community how the Ewok language works. That could be pretty interesting. Like I said, to have that be like, by the time you're done with the series, dude, I watched all the series, and suddenly you know Ewok. Like that could be interesting, and there's definitely formulatic maybe on how to teach people different languages. Like have a series where it's like you watch a series is entertaining, but unknowingly through watching the series, you're learning a new language. Like I said, possible, interesting. Anyways, could be successful. Who knows? So we have all three of those, and then we have this movie, which is definitely in my top 10 movies of all time. Definitely, unfortunately, double-sided disc. Bwomp, bwomp, bwomp. Double-sided discs are horrible. This is, of course, the director's cut on one side and the theatrical cut. Oh, I know. So both of these are the director's cut. My bad. There's standard and widescreen, which is, I don't know, stupid. It's the director's cut. So I have the director's cut of the movie, which is probably a really good cut, honestly. But I think they had a definitive cut or something like that. I don't know. I definitely would like to renew this with something that's not double-sided. But this movie, directed by Ridley Scott, is called Blade Runner. And it's a phenomenal movie. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Blade Runner is good because the story's good. But you know what? The story is transcendent. That's what makes it great. It's like, it's timeless. What a timeless tale. You have androids. They're created, and they have a life expectancy. Like, they're not going to live forever. And so they're coming to terms with the fact that they're not going to live together. Or, sorry, they're not going to live forever. They're coming to terms with that. And through their journey of coming to terms with that, they meet their creator. And they kill their creator. There's one of those things where, like, the creator doesn't have the answers they're looking for. It's not good enough for them. And then eventually, as they rebel, then they hit their levels of extremes. They come to a middle ground where they realize that they have to go. they can't live forever, and uh, like a life journey is compacted into this this hour or 2 hour long movie, and it's like I said, transcendent. Like everybody has to go through that journey at some point where they realize that their life is not endless, and so these characters go through that, and you get to watch that, and it's an interesting way of telling it, and like I said, and perhaps one of the best movie speeches of all times, with the character sitting there going, "I have seen things that some men will never see in their entire lives, and these memories will be lost like tears in the rain. Time to die." Oh, so good. I would say on level with the quote from Dark Knight, where he's like, there was a thief, and the thief was stealing things, and then he would take and then he found a child with a apple-sized ruby, and he was just throwing them out. It wasn't for it. It's like, some people just want to watch the world burn. You can't be reckoned with. They just whatever. Well, that speech is from that. I remember the ins and outs of that. Like I remember the ins and outs of the Blade Runner speech. That's phenomenal. Like I said, that's on level with I would say right under the Great Dictator, Charlie Chaplin's speech in The Great Dictator. Like that's epic as well. Anyways, and our next movie, which is it's a 5-movie day today, because you got that one, but that was on the next page, so that doesn't really count, but it does count. So, anyways, bam, my favorite Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, because he is not running after a Christian artifact in this one. He's actually doing something else. And like I said, it does kind of bind the stories, and it is a middle movie. It's one of those things where like it's funny because it's a middle movie, but it takes place before the first 2 movies. So yeah, no, sorry, it's basically first movie, second movie happens before the first movie, and then the third movie happens after the first movie. That's fun, right? That's Quentin Tarantino in it a little bit, but fun still. Temple of Doom is phenomenal. Like I said, I think it was well played and super fun. And also that minecart scene is epic. That's worth making the movie all together. Is that minecart scene is so good. You got Short Round in there, just phenomenal. The girl yelling all the time is a little annoying, but like I said, that minecart sequence is phenomenal. And like I said, the payoff of these people, and what they're doing to the kids, and like them getting their just desserts is very gratifying. But Temple of Doom, super fun. Like I said, first one, classic. Second one, also classic. Third one, phenomenal. Fourth one, oh man, I don't know. Like for me personally, unless you state at the beginning what the movie is about, once it's aliens, it's kind of like a cop-out for me. It's just like, pfft. Oh, sorry. I'm talking too long and it did the cut. It breaks off into 2 movies. Sorry, but it's a cop-out when it's aliens because of the fact that it's there. Like, for me personally, it just feels like it's a cop-out. Unless you state at the beginning of the movie that this is about aliens and stuff like that, it just feels like a cop-out to me because like it just feels like Deus Ex Machina, where you end the story with an act of God, which is considered bad storytelling unless you state at the beginning that this is what it's going to be. I don't know if that makes sense. But do you know what these movies have in common? Like I said, pretty easy. If you don't, then that's cool because I'm about to say it. If you do, say it now. I'll give you a chance. My goatee is getting so long. I need to braid it or maybe mousse it or something like that. It seems kind of dry, but I just need to. I don't know if I need to soften it up or do it like that, but I do want to braid it eventually. Anyways, did you discuss? I was feeling verklempt to discuss amongst yourselves. Okay. All these movies have Harrison Ford in them. And yes, well played, well done. I have tried to watch the Blade Runner sequel and have fallen asleep a couple times because the director of that is essentially like showing the importance of the sets, but you need to kind of skip that. It's one of those things like the sets should be amazing, don't get me wrong, but the sets should not be focused on that much. Like, it should be a happen to be thing. Like, the sets happen to be amazing, but the movie isn't about the sets. You can do that in behind the scenes features. explore the sets thoroughly, but it's not. I don't know. Like I said, unless it's built into the story, it should really be just a happening thing. And I don't know. I fell asleep a couple times. So, like I said. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. If you watch this far, you're awesome. Stay awesome. I do a video a day. I'm an artist and a physical media collector, and I'm going to be doing a video a day until I get a silver play button or a gold play button, or if I just run out of physical media to show you, but there is a lot of physical media. And thank you so much for watching. Really, like and subscribe, tell your friends, all the jazz, and yeah, tune in tomorrow.